That sounds good. Let's go for it.
Okay. Until the fig picking, or until it is the fig picking, it is forbidden until the people begin to bring in the figs in baskets. Until the fig picking passes, it is forbidden. Until the mats are folded up, until the mats are folded up, until the mats are folded up. Until the harvest, it is forbidden. Until the people begin to gather in the wheat harvest, not the barley harvest. Everything is according to the place of his nether. If he was in the mountain, the nether refers to the harvest in the mountain. If he was in the valley, it refers to the harvest in the valley. Until the rains are, it is forbidden until the second rain falls. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says until it is time for that rain arrives. Until the rain stops. It is forbidden until Nisan is over, and these are the words of Reb Meir. And Reb Yehuda says until Pesach is over. If one says Kornam wine with respect to my tasting it this year, and the year was extended, is forbidden during it and during its extension until the start of Adar. It is forbidden until the start of the first Adar until the end of Adar. It is forbidden until the end of the first Adar. If your Yehuda says, if one says Kornam wine with respect to my tasting, it is until Pesach. It is forbidden until the night of Pesach, since its intention was only until the time when it is to drink wine. If one says Kornam meat with respect to my tasting, it is till the fast. It is forbidden only until before the night of the fast, since his intention was only until the time when it is customary for people to eat meat. Rav Yossi says, if one says Kornam garlic with respect to my tasting it, it is until the Sabbath. It is forbidden only until the night of the Sabbath, since his intention was only until the time when it is customary for people to eat garlic.
Okay. Zayin, ha'omer l'chaveiro, konam she'ani nene lach im ein ata bar v'notel levanecha, kor echad shel chitzim u'shtei chaviyos shel yayin. Okay, so he has a situation where a guy says, I absolutely insist you must come and take a gift for your son, or probably a wedding gift or something like that, but he expresses it as a neder. If you don't accept this gift, then you're asked to derive benefit from me. Okay. So now what happens if the guy doesn't want to receive the gift? What's it? Sonei matana sichye. Is that right? How does it go? It's like somebody hates gifts. Will live. Yeah. Anyway, so he doesn't want to accept it. So so now if the guy who made the neder has karata and he realizes that that maybe it was silly of me to express this as a neder because he doesn't want to accept the gift, what can he do? He can say he doesn't even need a chacham to do hataras neder, right? He says why? Let the guy who he wanted to give the gift to says, didn't you only wanted to do this because of my honor, right? You wanted to give a nice gift, and you wanted to impress on me that you wanted to give me a gift. So you did it because you love me, because you wanted to do something nice for me. My honor is that I should not accept the gift. Okay. So therefore, once he says this, it's kind of like he's already received the gift and given it back, or he's mevater on the gift. And therefore, you don't even need to go to rabbi. Once he's made the statement, then the neder is undone. Similarly, ha'omer lechavero, konam she'ata nene li im ein ata ba v'nose nivni kor echad shel chitzim u'shtei chaviyos shel yayin. Okay, so now it's the reverse situation where the guy is upset that you're not coming to his wedding and giving a gift to his son. Okay, so it's an edit. He's all upset because he wants the other guy to give a gift to his son. Rabbi Meir Omer Aser Ad Sheyitain. So Rabbi Meir says, okay, well that's a binding vow. He has to. He's asked to get hana from the Lord there until he gives the gift. Even this guy is allowed to do hataras nedarim without shelas chacham. V'yomer lo harei ani ke'ilu hiskavalti. So if he wants to, annul his own vow, he regrets being such a cheapskate, small-minded, whatever, and he says, you know what, I'm a vater. It's ki'ilu, I already received it. So therefore, and that way he can get himself out of the neder. Now he has another situation where a person takes a neder just to get people off his back, right? The people are pressing him and saying, listen, your niece over here needs a shidduch, you need a shidduch, it's in the family, it's you really should be marrying her, and like all the grandmothers and the aunties and the uncles are saying, you're all come the same age, and you're in the family, really you should be marrying her. And he just doesn't like the girl. And he's just tired of everyone chaperoning him and saying, getting to marry. So he makes a neder. Omer, konem shehi nenes li le'olam. He makes a neder that she should never have benefit from me. Okay, now they get off his back. Okay, but now what's the situation? And similarly, if somebody wants to divorce his wife, he makes a neder that she should never have any benefit from him. They are permitted to have benefit from him. Why? That's exactly what his neder said that they can't do, is have benefit from him. Okay, because when he said it, his only intention was they should not have the benefit of marital relations with him. That's it. That's the only thing, and that's enough to invalidate a marriage. But it doesn't mean that she can't come over to his house later and have a cup of tea with him. Right. So when he makes a neder like this, we judge his intention that all he intended was for marital relations, and therefore the marriage is out of the question, but everything else is okay. So there's this guy who's coming and saying, come have a meal by me, and he just doesn't want to go. He makes a neder on the person's house that he won't go in. And even a drop of cold water I won't taste from you. He is nonetheless permitted to go into the guy's house and to drink cold water from him. Why? All that he's really talking about is about eating and drinking. He's not talking about actually going into the house or actually drinking cold water. The intention of this neder is judged to be simply that he's trying to avoid going to have a meal with a guy. So even when we directly contradict the words of his neder, we go by the interpretation of what did he actually mean.
Like I was confused when it was saying his intention was only for eating and drinking. So, but okay, I understand.
Okay. Now we can go on to the subject of hataras nedarim. Okay. So when a person makes a neder, it is binding with a Torah law. But there's a chiddush over here that there's a thing called hataras nedarim, which is that if a person realizes that if a person wants to get out of the neder because there was something that he didn't realize at the time that he made the neder or what the consequences would be, and that's what's called a petach, an opening. So in order to do the hataras nedarim, the chacham has got to ask him the questions. If at the time of your neder you had realized would you have made the neder? And he says, no, I would not have made the neder. He said, okay.
We had this whole I think it's right maybe after this section, but that if you knew that you weren't going to you didn't want to marry his daughter, you made a neder, and all of a sudden you saw the daughter, you said, oh wow, she's really beautiful, right.
So that's
that kind of thing.
That's going to come up. That's going to come up. Right. Okay, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Poschen la'adam bichvot aviv ve'imon v'chachamim osrin. So there's machlokes Rabbi Eliezer and Chachamim about whether a person can where you can make a petach for a person based on the honor of his parents' household, because they say to him, do you realize that by making a neder, you're embarrassing your parents because people know you as this guy who makes Nedarim, and it's an embarrassment to your parents. And so Rabbi Eliezer says, yeah, that's a valid way of giving the Hataras Nedarim, and the Chachamim say that doesn't count. That's not inherent. Amar Rabbi Tzadok. Rabbi Tzadok kind of elucidates the Chachamim's opinion. Says, Ad sheposchin lo b'chvod avi ve'imo. Before you come onto his parents, iftechu lo b'chvod hamakom. Let him look at Hashem. And let him say, like, this is Hashem. In Cain, right? We say, like, isn't this like a chilul Hashem that this guy's going around making Nedarim and he's supposed to be from, and it's like you realize that you're creating a chilul Hashem because people think this is how from people behave. So, oh gosh, I know. So that doesn't. So once you open up the subject of external parties, whether it's your parents or whether it's a Kadosh Baruch Hu, being unhappy with your behavior, it's not admissible because if you do that, why in Cain ain't Nedarim? Because then every person who comes to the Hataras Nedarim will say, you realize that Hashem doesn't like it when people make Nedarim, and then what's he going to say? He's going to say, oh, I didn't realize that. What's he going to say? Yeah, I realized that Hashem doesn't like it. Well, you're going to make yourself into a Rasha in front of the Beis Din. So you might even say that he feels bad about it when he doesn't really feel bad about it. And then it's going to be a false Hataras Nedarim. It's going to be they're going to be Matir Neder, which isn't really Mutar. Okay, so they said just forget about it. It's got to be something that's on him, not Tzad Gimel. Okay. Umodim Chachamim leRabbi Eliezer b'davar shebeino levein aviv v'imo. However, the Chachamim do agree when it's about a matter that is between him and his parents. So, for example, where is it? For example, that is shehidir es aviv v'imo min nechasav. So, if it's a case where he actually made a neder against his parents and said that my parents may not have any hana from me, and then you want to say, did you realize that your parents would be embarrassed by the fact that they can't visit their son? That is now actually admissible, say Chachamim. I agree with that because under the circumstances it makes sense to find a hitter in the neder like that. Not just that they're embarrassed about their son making nedarim, they're embarrassed about the fact that they can't go into their son's house. Okay. Okay, so they agree with him. So before them. Okay. But Amar Rabbi Eliezer. So another thing that Rabbi Eliezer said, Poschin benolad v'chachamim osrin. So now this is actually a very fundamental issue over here, is nolad when it comes to a neder. When something else comes to pass that you didn't anticipate. Okay. And the Chachamim say, no. You can't say that I didn't know this was going to happen, and therefore that's a petach. Where Rabbi Eliezer says, no, you can't take a petach. Okay, so what's the situation of a nolad? Ketzad amar konam she'eni nene leish ploni. So he takes a neder that he's not going to take any hana from Ruvain. But nasa sofer, and now Ruvain becomes a sofer. Or shehaya masiyas benobekaro. Or he's making a big chasana and he invites the whole neighborhood to the wedding, and now he's having charota about the fact that he took a neder against Ruvain. Amar ilu hayisi yodea shehu nasa sofer. If I'd known that he was going to be a sofer and he could write me a mezuzah, okay, or shehu masiyas benobekaro, or that he was going to make a chasana like this, and lo hayisi yodea. So that's called an olad because he couldn't really have predicted. He didn't know that Ruvain was going to become a sofer, or that he was going to make a big generous simcha. Konam lebayis zeh, another case. He makes a neder against going into this house. She'eni nichnas, the nasa beis hakneses, and then somebody takes the house and converts it into a shul. Nice and convenient. It's on the block. He wants to go and daven in it. Amar ilu hayisi yodea shu nasa beis hakneses lo hayisi noder. But known it was going to become a shul, I wouldn't have made such a neder. Rabbi Eliezer matir v'chachamim osrin. So Rabbi Eliezer says, yeah, okay, that's fine. You didn't know that was going to happen, so we'll let you off your neder. As Chachamim say, no, when you make a neder, you've got to bear in mind all the things that could happen. You know, this house is going to become a shul, the person's going to become a sofer, or whatever. That's not enough to be mati on neder. Okay.
No. Off here. Wait 1 second. I'm so off the table. Off the table. I was thinking of who is the Kamsa Bar Kamsa. I wonder if there was a netter made there and if he regretted it afterwards.
Yeah. That base.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're going on to
Still Nedarim above base.
if he prohibited the preserved food, he is forbidden only preserved vegetables. Preserved food.
Hold on. You're on Gimel. Just go back to base.
I'm sorry, I'm looking right at it. It says, one who makes a neder prohibiting something prepared in a pot is forbidden only a boiled food. If he said, Konam, what goes into a pot with respect to my tasting it, he's forbidden whatever is cooked in the pot. If he prohibited the preserved food, he is forbidden only preserved vegetables. Preserved food with respect to my tasting. If he is forbidden all preserved food. To seethed food, he is forbidden only seethed meat. Seethed food with respect to my tasting, he is forbidden all seethed foods. The roast, he is forbidden only roasted meat. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda, roast with respect to my tasting. He is forbidden all roasted foods. The salted food, he is forbidden only salted foods. For all salted fish. Salted food with respect to my tasting, is forbidden all salted foods. If one said Konam fishes with respect to my tasting, he is forbidden them whether large or small, whether salted or unsalted, whether raw or cooked, but he is permitted hash taras and brine. One who makes a neder prohibiting assorted hash fish is forbidden hash taras, but permitted brine and fish juice. One who makes a neder prohibiting hash taras is forbidden brine and fish juice. One who makes a neder prohibiting the milk is prohibited.
Oh, we've done 3.
Is that already? That's right, 2. So we're on 2. Okay.
Okay. Kesubos Vav Zayin.
Vav Zayin. If one deposits money for his daughter with a trustee and she says, I trust my husband, the trustee must nevertheless do as he was instructed. These are the words of Reb Meir. Reb Rossi says, were it only a field and she wished to sell it, it would be sold from this moment. When does this apply? In the case of a woman who is of age, but in the case of a minor, the act of a minor is meaningless. If one pronounces a vow on his wife, forbidding her to have any benefits from him until 30 days, he must appoint a steward. Longer than this, he must divorce her and give her the ketubah. Rabbi Yehuda says, in the case of a non-Kohen, 1 month. He may keep her as his wife 2 months. He must divorce her and give her the ketubah. But in the case of a wife of a Kohen, 2 months. He may keep her 3 months. He must divorce her and give her the ketubah. If one pronounces a vow on his wife that she should not taste a certain fruit, he must divorce her and give her the ketubah. Rabbi Yehuda says in the case of a non-Kohen, 1 day he may keep her, 2 days he must divorce her and give her the ketubah. In the case of the wife of a Kohen, 2 days he may keep her, 3 days he must divorce her and give her the ketubah. Okay, Dalet Gimel. The men of the Mamad would fast 4 days of the week, from Monday to Thursday. They would not fast on Friday because of the honor due to Shabbos, nor on Sunday, lest they go from rest and pleasure to toil and fast and become faint. On Sunday, they would read in the beginning and let there be a firmament. On Monday, they would say, let there be a firmament and let the waters gather. On Tuesday, let the waters gather and let there be luminaries. Wednesday, let there be luminaries and let the waters swarm. On Thursday, let the waters swarm and let the earth bring forth. On Friday, let the earth bring forth, and the heaven was completed. Let me see. Okay. The long portion would be read by 2 people and the short one by 1 person, at Shachris and at Musaf. At Mincha, they would enter the synagogue and recite the verse by heart, like those who read the Shema. On Friday at Mincha, they would not enter the synagogue because of the honor due to Sabbath. On any day when Hallel is recited, there is no Mamad at Shachris. When there is a Musaf sacrifice, there is no Mamad even at Nila. Whenever there is a wood offering, there is no mamad at mincha, and this is Rabbi Akiva's view. But as I said to him, that Yeshua would learn this way. Whenever there's a musaf sacrifice, there is no mamad at mincha. Whenever there is a wood offering, there is no mamad at nila, and Rabbi Akiva retracted in order to comply with Ben Azai. The wood festival, the Kahanim and the people were celebrated 9 times a year. On the 1st of Nisan, the family of Arak and the tribe of Judah did so. On the 20th of Tammuz, the family of David on the tribe of Judah did so. On the 5th of Av, the family of Parosh and the tribe of Judah did so. And on the 7th of that month, the family of Yonadab, the son of Rachav, did so. On the 10th of that month, the family of Sinai of the tribe of Binyamin did so. On the 15th of that month, the family of Zatu of the tribe of Judah did so. Along with them were Kohanim and Levium and anyone who was uncertain of his tribe. And the family of the pestle smugglers, the family of the fig cutters did so. On the 20th of that month, the family of Pachas Moab on the tribe of Judah did so. And on the 20th of Elul, the family of Adin, the tribe of Judah, did so. On the 1st of Tevis, the family of Parosh returned a second time. And on the 1st of Tevis, there was no mamad since Halal was recited and a musaf sacrifice and a wood offering were brought thereon.
Okay. Maser Sheni.
Okay. I have not eaten of it in the morning. However, if he did eat it in the morning, he cannot make the confession. Neither have I consumed any part of it when unclean. However, if I did separate from it when unclean, he cannot make the confession, nor given of it for the dead. I have not brought from a coffin or shrouds for the dead, nor have I given it to other mourners. I have hearkened to the voice of the Lord my God, and I have brought it to the chosen house. I have done according to all that you have commanded me. I rejoiced and caused others to rejoice with it. Look down from your holy habitation from heaven. We have done what you imposed upon us. Do you also what you have promised us? Look down from your holy habitation from heaven and bless your people Israel. With sons and daughters in the land that you have given us, with dew and rain, with the offspring of cattle, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey, that it might impart flavor to the produce. Hence they said, Israelites and Mamzerim make the confession, but are not proselytes, nor freedbondmen, nor they receive a share of the land. The Mayor says, nor priests, nor Levites, since they did not receive a share of the land. Rav Yossi says they have the cities with outskirts.
Nedarim.
Boil nega and burn nega do not combine together, nor do they spread from one to the other, nor do they spread onto skin, nor does the nega of the skin spread onto them. If the negayim are raw flesh, that means if they are rebellious, they are tahor. If they form the membrane, the thickness of a garlic peel, this is the partially healed boil mentioned in the Torah. If they healed it, they reverted and became normal. Even though a scar remains, they are judged as regular skin. Rav Elliot was asked, what is the law if a baharis the size of the cellar grows on the inside of someone's hand and it is on a partially healed boil? He said to him, the Kohen should confine him. They said to him, why? And he said, the baharis cannot grow white hair, nor can it expand, nor does it become tameh if it contains a mikya. He said to them, maybe the baharis will contract and subsequently expand. They said to him, but what if the partially healed boil is the size of a grist? He said to them, I was not taught. Rabbi Yehuda ben Masara said to Rabbi Eliezer, I can expound on this subject. Rabbi Eliezer said to him, Rabbi Yehuda ben Masara, if it is to uphold the words of the sages, you may. He said to him, perhaps another boil will develop next to it into which nega will spread. He said to him, you are a great sage who have upheld the words of the Chachamim. The Nesakim can become confined tameh for 2 weeks and are confined tameh for 2 symptoms with deficient blonde hair and with expansion. Deficient blonde hair means damage by being short. These are the words of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nori says even long. Yochanan ben Nori says, what do people mean when they say this stick is dark or this reed is dark? Don't they mean it is very thin regarding whether it is short or long? Rabbi Akiva said to him, before we learn from a reed, we should learn from hair. When people say so-and-so's hair is dark, they use dark to mean very short, not long, and very thin. And Avos. Okay. Yud Tes. Shmuel HaKatan says, when your foe falls, be not glad, and when he stumbles, let your heart not be joyous, lest Hashem see and it be displeasing in his eyes, and he returned his anger from him. Elisha ben Abuya said, one who studies as a child to what is compared to ink written on new paper, and one who studies as an elder to what is compared to ink written on a raised paper. Reb Yossi ben Yehuda, leader of Kafar Bavli, says, one who learns from children to what is compared to one who eats acrid grapes and drinks wine from the press, and one who learns from elders to what is compared to one who eats ripe grapes and drinks aged wine. Rebbe says, do not look at the vessel, rather look at what it contains, for there can be a new vessel containing old wine and an old vessel which lacks even new wine. Elazar ben Akapar says, jealousy, lust, and honor remove a man from this world. At what point did people start forgetting what tribe they came from? You know, we just had the Mishna that it says they didn't know where they came from.
Right. I think it started with Sancheiriv exiling the 10 Shvatim, because that's really the big deal was the 10. There were 10 Shvatim that were in the Malchus Yisrael,
Right.
the northern kingdom, and Sancheiriv's policy was basically to take people, remove them from the land, mix them up, because that removes the will to rebel, because you no longer feel like you're in your territory. You're now out of your territory, and you don't have the same will to fight against the ruling power. So since then, it's been difficult to tell the Shvatim, at least for those who still identified as Jewish after that particular exile. In terms of the rest of Yehuda, who was left in Yehuda, well, it was the Kohanim and the Leviim who still maintained their Masorah for the reasons that they have specific roles. So Kohanim and Leviim know who they are. And who the Yisraelim are left? Shevet Yehuda, Shevet Binyamin, and Shimon. Shimon didn't have his own chelek; he was scattered around Yehuda. So basically, and numerically, Yehuda was like vastly more than either Binyamin or Shimon. So the odds are that Yisraelim are from Shevet Yehuda.
But with the war with Benjamin, they lost a lot. Didn't they lose a lot of people in that?
Yeah, but it didn't really affect their population. The war with Binyamin mostly affected the tribe of Binyamin. Binyamin was almost wiped out of Israel.
Right, I know, right. So
yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Hashem. Thank you.